Hello there. So recently I started speedrunning this game and I wanted to create a guide for it so that anyone interested has all the tools they need from the get-go to get a somewhat reasonable time. This game's pretty easy to speedrun. It took me only about 3 hours to get a respectable time, and I wanted to make this guide so that new players don't need to spend anywhere near that long just trying to figure out all the tricks and all the ropes to the game. I want to make sure to say before I get into it, this is completely unscripted, so I'm going to be tripping over my words a lot and umming and ahhing, but hopefully that doesn't get too annoying. First of all, the timer starts as soon as you click the start button, so at this point it would have started. There are 3 levels, as you can see, Zone 1, 2 and 3. I've been speaking with my friend who's also speedrun this game. He's Jazz Smith on the leaderboard. He reckons Zone 2 is a good place to start, because you can do them in any order you like. I think that's probably pretty practical because it's by far the longest level, and if you die in it, it resets you back to the very beginning. So if you die in that level, you've pretty much completely ruined your chances of getting a good time. So doing that level first makes a lot of sense. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to start from Zone 1, simply because Zone 2, although it's got the potential for the biggest time loss, it's a really simple level. There's not many tricks to it, there's not much I really need to tell you about it. Zone 1 has way more. Basically, you need to pick your gun first of all, and when I first started playing this, I would always pick the shotgun, because it stands to reason that the shotgun you'd think would deal the most damage. Turns out it doesn't. It deals just as much damage as this gun. Its projectiles are slightly faster, which can make a difference at some points, but this gun's better, and I'll show you why. This gun has infinite range, unlike the shotgun, which sort of stops around this mark where my cursor is. For each of the levels, there'll be usually a dog, and then you've got to click the disc. When you play this, it's best to sort of count which levels you're doing as you go along through them, so that you can know exactly what level you're on and which one you need to start on, which direction you need to be looking in. These first few levels are really simple. You just need to sort of run through them. There's not many tricks to them. I will, however, show you that basically I'm going to take my time here. I was doing those quickly because a couple of those are sort of time dependent because of the little jellyfish, these guys, because once they go past a certain point, you obviously you can't jump on them anymore, and you've got to wait for new ones to come past. So on this level, on the 3rd stage of this level, sometimes these jellyfish will always be in different positions. Sometimes you'll have to wait a bit, sometimes you can go almost immediately. It really depends, and you just got to click the dog and then the disc. On this one, you want to be moving right as soon as it starts so that you have a chance of reaching the second. You see, this time it's RNG'd me some bad jellyfish, because I've got to jump twice to get to that second one, or wait. And once I reach the second bit, this one's so high up I can't even jump on it from this platform. I need to go from this jellyfish to that one, so that would lose me a couple seconds maybe. Given sort of perfect conditions, this is what it should look like. This one, it's best to hit the bubble first, then click on the dog, so you can get to here. Then you've got to jump, click that, and then move on to the jellyfish. If you're not fast enough, the jellyfish will go past and you'll have to wait for it. This next one, you start by going right, shoot the, I'm not sure what those are, squids I guess, and you can click the disc from just the edge of this platform. For this one, what you're supposed to do is sort of, I mean, the game looks like it's sort of set up for you to do these in that sort of way, to go from one to the other. You can just do it this way instead, but it's completely unnecessary since you can literally reach this dog from the end platform. So just stand where the disc is, jump, click the dog, and you're done. This one's a bit annoying, just because clicking in this game can be a little inconsistent, so sometimes you won't get that dog on your first try. You can click the dog from the heart, and you can click this the disc from the edge of the toaster platform. What's useful about that is because if you click it from the toaster platform, once you enter this level, you'll be immediately looking where you need to click the dog, pretty much. So far, there's not really any defined route for this level as to which is fastest. So this is the important bit. What I'd normally do, what the game wants you to do is wants you to go down here and then up here and then shoot it from about there and then drop down every time these, I guess, speakers reach you. But what I'd typically do, what I started doing was a sort of tricky jump to get up here with the shotgun, and then I'd shoot it from there. It is very inconsistent though, so I'm glad there is now an alternative. Recently, my friend Michael, who's been in some of my other videos, he picked up this gun, and that's the reason why I'm using it now, because it deals 3 damage and it bounces off of things. So you can just shoot here and hit it. But what I like to do is sort of a variation on both Jazz Smith's technique and Michael's, in that when you first start this level, as you can see here, if I start shooting, it hits the speaker, so it doesn't bounce off immediately, so I do lose a bit of time there. I'm going to die real quick. So what I do instead is I just stand on this and shoot from there. So that's a pretty great find, quite a substantial time save. As soon as you click on the guillotine, hit escape and then enter, and it'll exit you to the main screen without you needing to waste about 5 seconds waiting for it to move you on by itself. Then on to Zone 2. This is the annoying one, because it is about 6 minutes long, and there's nothing you can really do to speed it up. So moving on to Zone 2, this is the duck level, or the blender level. Typically you'll want to do this first because, like I said before, it's pretty much a 6-minute level with no way of really speeding it up. There are a few tricks. The advice I'll give you from the get-go is when you see these blocks and the missiles, spam click them, because it can be a little bit inconsistent as to whether or not it will register you clicking on them. So always click at least twice. Alongside these ice cubes and the missiles, there are apples. These typically take about 3 shots to destroy. You can always just spam click to get rid of them, but I'd advise against that, since the more you click on this, the level of the liquid in the blender goes down. So each time you fire off a shot, you're losing a bit of height, so the level's going to take longer. Once you reach the top of the blender, like I am doing now, there'll be a cloud, and you're going to want to click on the cloud to get rid of it, and then don't wait until you can see the radio because it's already there. You just need to start firing. The thing that's going to slow you down on this level is, as you can see, you can't shoot through the blobs that come down, so or any of the obstacles, any of the hazards. So the thing that's really going to determine whether you've got a fast time or not is how many of these come down through the center of the screen, so you can't actually shoot the radio. The radio is pretty wide though, so you should be able to just about click around any of the obstacles. Always try to keep the area clear of hazards, because it is possible for you to just sort of sit still and let the ice cubes drop, which might save you a small amount of time, but overall it's not really worth it for the potential risk of dying here. If you're feeling confident, then by all means, but feels more dangerous than it's worth. When trying to click on the hazards, try to click sort of on the bottom edge of the ice cubes or at the front of the missile. That seems to be the most consistent way of getting rid of them. Once you reach near the top is the most dangerous bit, because of course the apples spawn from about here. Once you see the bottom edge of the disc, you can click on it, then click the guillotine, escape, enter, and you're done. Zone 3 is probably the easiest of the lot. It's pretty much the first level, but with almost no platform elements to it. The first part, it's obviously, you can see it immediately. Then you're going to want to jump up, drop down. It's my phone going off, sorry about that. Obviously there'll be two dogs here. Spam click them to try and get them as quick as possible. If you can maintain just jumping the whole time, that'll be slightly faster, but it's not entirely necessary. There's not much room for time loss on most of these levels. It's just a case of if you die, that's where you're going to lose most of your time. On this level, you've got to... Oh, I forgot which one this was. There's two levels similar to this. So as soon as you start this one, you're going to want to just drop off to the left. Don't bother jumping or anything, and there it is. On this one, you're going to want to go off to the left-hand side or the right-hand side and just jump up the side of the map to avoid all the hazards. And then just sink back down again. This one is one where you're going to want to come up to the left here and then keep moving left. Try to avoid jumping if you can, because that will lose you a bit of time. Shit. Yeah, basically on this level, you're not going to lose too much time by playing it safe. So if you've got a good run going, it might be better to just play it safe instead of go for many of the sort of risky strategies that will only save you at most probably 5 to 10 seconds. This is the most difficult part of this area because you've got to get out of this zone. And in order to do that, you need to click on one of these. But the direction they move and the amount they move is random every single time. I'm not sure if there's any way to make it more consistent. I got really lucky and managed it on my first try. But yeah, basically, this is the bit that's going to lose you probably the most time unless you manage to die. On this boss, what you're going to want to do is just jump at it from underneath and then go underneath again. Obviously try to avoid dying. If you go from directly underneath, it should do about 40 damage. So yeah, that's that. And then the boss is really rather inconsistent. So far, I'm not sure of a real strategy to do this consistently. If you shoot the radio that's rotating it, it stops it from moving, which is useful. You're going to want to shoot the radio about here, just so that you can get past. I am re-recording the audio for this bit because I did an appalling job of explaining it at the time. Basically, as you can see, sometimes when the boss first starts, on the first rotation round, sometimes you can just go round without touching your keyboard at all. Other times, that won't be the case, so it's pretty inconsistent. And your hitbox is quite large, so you get hit by projectiles quite a lot. There's not really a defined strategy for this level. The reason why my current record is so fast is because I got lucky and managed to beat the boss on my first try. So this is where the real sort of element of challenge comes into speedrunning CrabDub. But I hope this guide has been helpful in some way, shape or form. If you choose to speedrun the game, if you know me at all, just send me a message so that I know to check the speedrun leaderboards, because I'm not going to be on there every day checking. If you find anything that can help sort of increase speed, be it a new sort of, I don't know, technique, or if you find a glitch that can help with time save, or you can find a consistent strategy for beating the final boss, please do feel free to share it. When submitting runs for this game, obviously you'll need to have a video of it, I'm not just going to approve a run if you submit a time without a video. Preferably, if you can set up live split so that there's a timer, so I don't have to time it myself, that would be really helpful. But it's not compulsory, so don't feel like you need to if you just don't have the time to set it up. But other than that, there's not really much else to say. This is CrabDub.